welcome back to the Coaching Circle. Today, I want to start with something that might completely shift how you see criticism and visibility. Now, visibility is a common issue that holds a lot of people back in business. And when you're visible, whether that's on social media, on stage, or in your community, you will trigger people. This, unfortunately, is a fact. And when you do, I want you to know that why people feel triggered is because you're holding up a mirror for those people, right? You're showing them what they haven't yet accomplished or what they don't think's possible for them or something else that they haven't healed within themselves. And so that's why that sometimes people will attack or dismiss or criticize you. It's not actually about you, right? It's about what they see in themselves through you. And this is something that we really have to understand and embrace to feel comfortable being more visible. Because there is no reality where you being successful and visible isn't going to trigger somebody. It always is. The key in this is that you have to learn to be okay with that. Because here's the other side of that mirror. When someone's criticism hits you hard, then they are showing you something that's unhealed within you. And it's an opportunity for you to be able to grow. Usually, why it triggers you is because it's hit on something that's a bit of an insecurity for you. A fear or an old wound that's still sitting underneath the surface. And that's why some comments will just bounce straight off you and you will not be bothered, where other ones will completely have you in a whirl for days. But this is where we get to embrace visibility as a real growth edge, not just for business, but for you personally, because it's not only about handling what comes at you, it's about using those moments as signposts for where you can grow and heal. And this is where we need to go deeper. Let's go really deep, because if you've listened to some of my episodes, you'll know I go deep. There's no scratching the surface here. And your triggers are often rooted in what you experienced in childhood. Now, often I work with so many people in business, and some people are fully aware that they had trauma in childhood. Other people will say, no, my childhood was great. But I can assure you, if you have got triggers, there was something that happened in childhood that you didn't manage to process particularly well, that's left you feeling a little bit fragile and less than whole and secure in yourself. It's perfectly normal. It doesn't mean you have bad parents. It means that you're growing. And you're outgrowing the environment that you have lived in before. And so maybe you were in a situation or in an environment at home where wealth or success was spoken about with disgust. This is something that is more common than what we realize. Maybe those people were spoken about as if they were greedy or they were selfish or they were untrustworthy. And without realizing it, you learned that if you were successful, then the people closest to you might feel disgusted with you too. And disgust isn't just disagreement. It's a form of devaluing. It's a signal that you're no longer acceptable. And for a child, that is one of the most scary things that can ever happen. But as an adult, your brain doesn't register that it's still thinking of the fears of a child. Now, other things that might happen or you might have been exposed to, and these are more common than you would think, is where people talk about writing people out of the will. You'll be written out of the will. I'm going to write so-and-so out of the will. This isn't so much about receiving an inheritance as it is about being cut off and being excluded from someone's writing off and devaluing you. And so that feeling of the threat that you're going to be written out of the will or excluded from family opportunities or left behind if you didn't behave a certain way is very frightening for a child. Maybe as well, someone said to you things like, if you don't behave in a certain way, that they're going to leave you behind, or that they're going to take you away if you are bad. And so when we get these types of messages, we feel like love and approval and attention, they are all conditional. And people only give when you meet their expectations, and they withdraw when you don't. And so this makes it very, very difficult for people to be fully visible for fear of upsetting someone, right? Maybe even as a child, you were shamed in front of other people, or punished for speaking up, or told not to show off when you were proud of something that you were done. Maybe you were in an era of children should be seen and not heard. Right? All of these messages affect people that decide to grow further than the environment that they experienced as a child. So these experiences wire in the belief that visibility, which is just could simply be standing out, doing something that other people aren't doing, expressing yourself, achieving success, it feels dangerous. And that it will lead to rejection or humiliation or abandonment, or just some way of losing connection with the people that matter to you. But here's the thing, those fears don't just disappear because you're an adult or because you own a business either. In fact, entrepreneurship often brings them right back to the surface because it requires you to show up in ways that you can't control. It requires you to be visible. It requires you to have an opinion. It requires you to back yourself. And so, what is the way through this? This is the real question. How do you move through this? You might be saying, okay, yes, I can see that these are a problem. Or you might have just felt them in your body. Or you might just realize that that's the reason that you haven't been getting to that next level of success. Or that's the reason you haven't been showing up, because quietly in the back of your mind, there's this little voice that says it's dangerous, that you will lose something if you do. But the way through is that you have to back yourself. Learning to back yourself, and I talk a lot about masculine and feminine energy with my clients. Learning to back yourself is having healthy masculine energy. It says, I back myself. I back what I believe in. I back what I stand for. And I have so much certainty in that it's going to trump the doubt of my haters. That I'm not even going to listen to the people that are trying to bring me down, because who are they to? No one has a right to bring you down just because you're visible, right? They don't get to do that. If they do, you have the right to do something about that. And so you no longer need anyone's permission to behave the way that you choose to behave, to believe what you choose to believe, or to express yourself fully. You're an adult. You get to choose what is right in your world. You want to have this main character energy. You want to own your voice, own your message, and own your own presence. Really allow yourself to take up space and know that you're worthy of that. And when you do, you'll notice something really powerful. The more visible you are, the more you are your authentic self, the more the right people will show up for you. And not just to watch you quietly, but to actively support you. And they'll even defend you against the trolls. More visibility means more supporters. There is always going to be more people that are supporting you than trolling you. And that's just part of life. That's what we need to be able to focus on. And so the truth is, there is no way that you can avoid people criticizing or having their opinions or making judgments about you, but you can learn how to not let it be a problem. In fact, that is your personal growth edge. That is the evolution, when you can be fully resourced and you are not swayed by what other people think and their limited views on the world. Then you will move forward with so much more energy, and you will attract so many more people that you are inspiring. People need people to lead. People need people to be visible. And that's what you get to do. So this is what I want you to reflect on today is, what do you think it is that you've perhaps been holding back from for fear of humiliation or judgment or rejection even? What have you been holding back from? And I want you to think about it. Are there any particular comments or criticisms that you most fear receiving, or that you have received and trigger you the most? Because they might be the things that are really showing you exactly what it is you need to work on for yourself. Now, for me, I have received loads of different criticisms and comments and people posting on my stuff over the time. And look, I can tell you, when I received it, I'm like, oh my God, what are they saying about me? What have I done wrong? But the thing is, whenever you look at who are these people, they're just people with their own stuff. They're people that are triggered by you being expressed. You're not doing anything wrong. I wasn't doing anything wrong. These people are just trying to make themselves feel better. But it's good to really hear what that is. Right? Think about it for yourself, because once you've got an awareness and you heal that, no one's going to be able to hurt you. And that's the truth. And I also want you to think about whose permission have you unconsciously been waiting for to fully show up, to fully own where you're at? Is there someone you're thinking, oh, if they say it's okay, it will be okay? Because no one's going to come and give you permission. You're the one who gives yourself permission. And if you need permission, I'm giving it to you now. You have permission. Not that you need my permission. You have to give it to yourself. Criticism doesn't mean you're failing. More often, it means that you're actually making an impact. And if this is something that you've struggled with, don't just do it alone. I can assure you the growth that I have created for myself and my own business has come with a lot of support. I've always got coaches. I've always got people that can help me and support me. And this is exactly what I provide for my clients as well. You don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself with people who support you, and get a coach, reach out to me, and really change how you feel about showing up, and watch that next level of success roll in for you. Thanks for being here. I look forward to talking to you in the next episode.